a portion of the lovely countryside of Montgomery County, I am grateful for the values that have made this nation and henceforth our county great. There is splendor in the dimpling waters, fertile bottoms, rolling hills, and blue mountains. It is truly like none other in the world. I am Betty Thomas, County Administrator, on this, the 10th day of October in the year of our Lord, 1981, and the 251st year of our Commonwealth. During the past decade, the county has experienced a 35% growth rate, and we are now 8th largest in the Commonwealth. Montgomery County has been blessed with many assets which the citizens have to build prosperous and thriving communities throughout the county. At this point in time, the county is at a crossroads. Its growing communities are now confronted with problems resulting from current business, federal government budget cuts, and many more. The citizens have two options. They could take the turn at the left at that crossroads and continue current policies, which at best will not be able to meet the needs of the citizens. And the other option, of course, is to take the right turn at the crossroads, and all citizens work in a concerted effort to meet the needs of all Montgomery County citizens. The county's communities must set aside insignificant fractional problems and work together for the common good of the entire county. Problems that the future viewers of this recording will evaluate the citizens of this state, and this will be pared down to the citizens' ability to work in a cooperative and concerted effort. All citizens and government must make sacrifices and strive toward that common good. Through this type of effort, problems will be resolved, and the viewers of this tape will realize that an effort or lack of effort contributed to their own prosperity and happiness. We pray that Montgomery County will live up to her heritage of pleasant living and welcome the future as she has welcomed the changing conditions over her historic span of more than 2 centuries as a pioneer in an ever-changing life.
Emily Allen is my name, and I came to Christiansburg to live in June 1909. And there was only one person I knew in Christiansburg when I came here, and that was a Presbyterian minister who happened to be a cousin. So we soon met all the people in Christiansburg that were in the church, and we joined, my older sister and I joined the UDCs, and we came down for the dedication of the courthouse, where we knew Mr. George Wilson, the clerk of the court, and he was from Botetourt County and knew my relatives there. So we made our acquaintance right well, and we were invited to the dedication of the courthouse. And we stood over by the monument. A group of people, that whole the place was full, and that was where they had a building planked up, a room planked up over there, where they did the clerk of the court, and the principal of the high school worked in his office, Jeb Smith. And they did the county business there in that planked up room. And that's where we stood for the dedication of the courthouse. I don't remember much about the speakers because they were out of town and people I didn't know. And the UDCs sponsored the cornerstone. And why they didn't get it fixed correctly, I think the papers were wet before they ever sealed them that day. And I enjoyed that, and I've been glad, and I'm still a member of the UDCs. after all these years.
What's been the biggest change you've seen in Montgomery County?
The buildings and the people, because they're just we're whole families here, and there's not any of those families. They're just dead. They have moved away. And Mr. Arthur Sullivan, a Confederate veteran, had planted our tree over here, 10 oak, and we've enjoyed watching that grow, and called the Constitutional Oak. And when the Constitution was rewritten, one of the men gave an oak to every county. And when they went to check on those oaks after it came to come in here chopping ours down and the UDC saved it, they went to hunt those oaks, and they found that some of the people, instead of planting them on public grounds, had taken them home and planted them on private grounds. And I don't think there were more than 15 of those oaks that were found that were planted on public grounds.
What message do you have for the future?
I think we're continuing to grow. The county is growing, the people in it, and they are thinking more of education and things, and the Radford University up here and BPI are great factors in it, and we are just we're glad to have them. And they tried to put BPI here, out here, beyond on the grounds of the high school. No, not the high school, the old high school zone. And then that on out the Radford Road was where they put the BPI, wanted to put BPI, and the people turned it down. And some of the people got over in Blacksburg. And I heard all that when I came here.
Hi, I'm Gloria Whitehurst from Blacksburg, Virginia. This is my daughter Kelly, age 8. I'm a real estate broker in the county, and I thought it'd be interesting to know that the prices of homes in the last 10 years have doubled in value. Our average price house now is around $69,000 versus in 1970 of $40,000. Our interest rates have climbed from 8% to a high of 17.5%. The banks and savings and loans have done away with conventional 30-year mortgages. We only have now renegotiable rate mortgages and accelerated mortgages. This past year, most of the homes that have been sold have been owner financed. Our savings and loans are in a financial bind as of the moment. They are trying to raise money, and they are now competing heavily with the banks in our savings account and checking accounts. The county has grown extremely in the last 10 years. We now have 3 shopping centers, where 10 years ago we only had 1 small shopping center. We have an influx of people. In Blacksburg alone, we now have around 22,000 people, which does include the students. And 10 years ago, we only had 9,000 people. We have several new housing developments here. We have several government-backed loans on VHDA homes, but they are mainly in the county, not in the town of Blacksburg. 10 years ago, when I was a student here, I have seen the county grow extremely. The new courthouse here was a great big necessity for us, as this older courthouse was too small for our needs. That's it.
I'm Ward Teal, a resident of Christiansburg, Virginia, and I was born in Montgomery County. I've been a resident of Montgomery County all of my life. I'm 57 years old at this time on October the 10th, 1981. It's a pleasure for me to share with you for just a moment what I have seen in Montgomery County and in the surrounding areas in my lifetime. As stated, I was raised at Reiner on a farm. I moved to Christiansburg in 1947. I served as mayor of Christiansburg, and I have been involved in industrial development and the economic developments of this area for a number of years. In the past decade or so, a lot of changes have occurred And of course, the monument to my back, the new courthouse in Montgomery County, is indicative of some of those changes. And we have seen a lot of changes from the standpoint of how we do business, how our citizens are taxed, how our government serves its people, and how our educational systems have grown. And yet, each year, it appears that we are at a point behind where we should be. In addition to other activities, business activities in which I've been engaged, I've served in the House of Delegates since 1972. In fact, I'm presently in a campaign seeking re-election to that office for 1981. Unfortunately, due to the redistricting things that have occurred this year, according to the courts, we will only have 1 year to serve, not a 2-year term. So whoever is successful this year will probably be back again next year seeking re-election or election to a new district which has been devised either by the General Assembly or by the courts. Back to Montgomery County, it is interesting to note that the economic expansions that have happened in Montgomery County, and I have shared in some of those experiences and have been participant in some of those activities. 1950s, many of us in the area decided that things were not necessarily going to be an agricultural economy. And therefore, we needed to seek industrial expansion. And so various groups were formed, and finally in 1959, the New River Valley Industrial Commission was formed. I had the pleasure and honor of serving as its president for a number of years, and during which time we were successful in securing the Corning Glassworks plant, which is located between here and Blacksburg. That was the beginning of some of the industrial expansion in Montgomery County and the New River Valley area. But I would say to the people, to the future, that industrial expansion is going to be a slower growth than it has been in the past. People have become more conscious with regard to the environment and to the area in which we live and how things are to be preserved. We have become more conscious with regard to conservation of fuel, energies, waters, and our natural resources, because we're becoming to realize that these things will not last forever. Those in the future that some of the work that we have done now has brought forth fruition to the extent that you're now living in luxury, and that there are no energy crises, and that the environmental problems have all been solved, and that you will have a better life and a better quality of life than what we have today, which is not bad. But we are always working and seeking to bring about that which is better, and hope to leave for the future generations something better than we have experienced. Thank you.
For the people of the future, I'd like to read a quote by John Fowles, who in the 20th century may be the best author of the 20th century. And in 1981, he writes, "With each pleasure we feel a pleasure less, each day a stroke on the calendar. What we will not accept is that the joy in the day and the passing of the day are inseparable. What makes our existence worthwhile is precisely that it is worth and it is while. Its quality and duration are as impossible to unravel as time and space in the mathematics of reality." I lost my page. It's terrible. I have a poem to read that sort of sums up my opinion and my feelings about our environment and things that happen around me every day. And it starts, "Oil-blackened seas lap on beer can-riddled shores as polluted streams filled with phosphates and chemical waste surge to meet the malodorous brine. The gulls soar overhead with tar-black feathers, how they've adapted to eating garbage. The fish upstream don't fare as well as the manly angler tosses his line along with his sandwich bag. Man complains of gray-brown air he's forced to breathe. He must look only to himself for the answers. On a lighter note, the ocean is one of the most powerful things on our earth, and we continually use it, we continually abuse it. And on the sand, the moon glow shimmers over silky sand, cool to the bare feet, pushes into it tiny clefts and rivulets. The strong, windy days spread the fine powder to the heavens and ripples the earthbound into waves and knolls. Decades passed as giant boulders are reduced to flocculent sand, ice-smarting, yet the asparagus loves it. Oceans as its companion, the black, white, tan, and pink tiny grains reflect the sun's heat as the ocean's waves cool them once more. My name's Robert Smith, and I live in Sugar Grove section of Montgomery County. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dee Dee Pittenger. I'm 29 years old, and I live here in Christiansburg, Virginia. I thought you might be interested in knowing a little bit about grocery prices today. That's something that most folks are concerned about because prices have just risen incredibly over the past few years. And you might be interested in knowing a little bit about how things are packaged, too. This is kind of a typical bag of groceries. I live within walking distance, so I walk down to the grocery store and save a little money that way, so I don't have to buy gas. This is a dozen eggs for 75 cents, which is really a pretty good price. Half gallon of milk for $1.20. We like 2% because it has less calories, less fat. People eat a lot of snack foods these days. We try to stay away from it sometimes, but my husband likes these in his lunch. They're 59 cents. They're like little potato chips, only they're packed in a can. I try to look a lot for bargains, and found these. They're bagels, and you buy one bag and you get the other one free. And they're packaged in plastic, which is kind of a popular way to package things these days. A lot of people don't like that, though, because it's not very biodegradable. What else? We try to stay away from red meat sometimes. We eat more vegetables and fish, things like that, but sometimes I do splurge. This is a roast, $6.60, which is a lot, but we get a lot of meals out of it, sandwiches and things like that. Also try to eat a lot of fruit, drink orange juice, 47 cents for a can of that. Like I said earlier, we eat a lot of fish and things that aren't red meat. This is a can of tuna for 89 cents. It was on special, so it doesn't sound like a very good price to me, but it is supposedly on special. It's also packed in a can. You see a lot of tin cans these days. Well, not tin, though, anymore, aluminum. Also a lot of fruit, grapefruit. I think these were from Florida, 2 for 59 cents. Several other things in here are included, and it brings the total bill to $19.91 for one bag of groceries, which seems a little outrageous to me. But what can you do?
I'm Arnold LaFawn from the Mount Tabor section of Montgomery County, and I was born and raised in Montgomery County. Been out here all my life. I've worked at Radford Arsenal and VPI, and I think it's one of the finest counties in the state. I'm very proud to be from Montgomery County.
Hello, my name is Bob Colvin. I live in Christiansburg, Virginia. I've been a deputy sheriff in Montgomery County for 5 years. I'm a sergeant on the department. I work for Lewis Barber as a sheriff in Montgomery County. Montgomery County, even though it's a growing county, has a lot of rural areas. It's a very nice place to live, has good people in it. The economy has a strong retail base, and the people of the county are searching for an industrial base for their economy. With the new move in management science, high technology and production, and research and development, I believe that the colleges, the University of Radford and Blacksburg, Virginia Tech, will draw industry into the area, the educated people and the extension divisions of the university. This will provide a good economic base for the county. I believe the county will grow from this and become more of an urban county. It's growing out all the time. Blacksburg is yearning to become a city, and I feel they will do this in 5, 6, 7 years. Yet the county, even though becoming urban, is going to maintain a rural status. The local government is sensitive to the needs, the social requirements of the people. As far as law enforcement, which I'm familiar with, the area currently has a good selection of better educated and well-trained police officers. These officers are serving the need of the public, and I think as time goes on, the officers here will be exemplary in the state in the level of education, the professionalism, and the service to the people. Just like to say to those who view this tape that I hope the county is as nice a place to live when the tape is viewed as it is for me now, and I hope we can keep it that way.
Hi, my name is Randall Aiken, here on another beautiful day in Blacksburg. I'm a student here at Virginia Tech. I've been here for about 4 or 5 years. My hometown is Roanoke, but I've had relatives in this county, Montgomery, for roughly 150 years. Maybe in another 50 years, some of my descendants will still be here. President Ronald Reagan is now in office, and his effects have come down to the local level, like here in Blacksburg. And we've seen cuts on such as social services, health, and education. And I'm thinking maybe in the next few years, if we cannot get the funding through government agencies, possible other sources can come from the private industry, businesses, and from individuals. Here in Blacksburg, I would like to see more cohesiveness between Virginia Tech and town relations, and also within the town and county here in Blacksburg, Christiansburg, and the county itself, Montgomery. Blacksburg has grown a lot in the past 10 years, and it will probably grow a lot in the next 50 to 100 years. And hopefully the environment will stay the same. There's been a lot of talk and a thought about bringing new industries around Radford, around here. And the fact of the environment has been thought about, and so far nothing permanent has been done. So that will be something to think about in the future.
My name is Ann Roberts, and I've been living in Blacksburg for approximately 6 years now. I originally came to this area for the institution we call Virginia Tech, but I ended up working here at a delinquency prevention place called the Rivendell House here in Blacksburg. I was asked to say what I thought that might be some of the changes that might be occurring in the next 50 years. And I'm not so sure we're going to be here in the next 50 years. I think our values and our whole outlook towards life is such that we're on a path towards destruction. I think we're spending too much money on bombs and not enough on caring about our environment or people. I'm very scared about this place, Blacksburg, because I came originally for its beauty, and I see more and more of the land in the area is going under development and construction. I think that we have to relook at our priorities and see what the real needs are here in Blacksburg. Do we want to save our environment for future generations, and do we want to save some space and clean air and land for kids and youth to come, or do we just want to take it up now with construction in the Whitethorn area or having more dorms and houses being built? I think population is a big problem, and we're going to have to solve it somehow, but I think just keep growing, that's not the answer. I think we're going to have to use unique and real diverse alternatives to try to keep this world under control. How we do it, I'm not sure. Maybe it's through just people caring, maybe it's through religions. I'm not so sure if religions help or sometimes block what's going on. I think they kind of give us attitudes and values we may not want to accept. And we might have to do a lot of rethinking in the next 50 years if we're going to have in the next 50 years.
My name is Cheryl Kozak. I've been up in this area a little over 2 years. I came up from Piedmont, North Carolina, which is a very, very different sort of area. In the 2 years since I've been here, I've gone through some of the biggest personal changes that I've ever been through, and hopefully that I'll ever go through. And this has been a perfect area to go through it. Living in the mountains is a sort of nurturing thing. I live in the country past Luster's Gate right now, and have never lived in an area like that, and it's really beautiful. Every day I sort of marvel, and I always consider, whatever else happens, I consider it a good day if I go home at night and see deer on the road. I also see a lot of signs where they're getting ready to chop up the land out there at different places and start building houses. And even though I know people would like to live in a place like that, that saddens me because I hate to see that becoming full of people and full of houses. I work with the Raft, which is a drug abuse agency here. And in my job, I get to work with a lot of other community people, a lot of other agency people. And I see a lot of people that really want to get things done, and a lot of people that really want to work on getting things done and do put energy into that. And I see a lot of other people, too, that say, hey, this is what we want to have. This is what we'd like to see. Go find somebody else to do it. I want to have it done, but I don't want to be the one to do it. And that gets to be really frustrating. There's a poster that I've seen that I think sums it up pretty well. I want to go and stick it up all over the area where I work. It says something like, I wondered why somebody didn't do something, and then I realized I was somebody. And I know sometimes I need to pay a little more attention to that myself and what I do, and in terms of getting what I want to see done. And I'd just like to see a few more people pay attention to that and follow through on it.
My name is Pat Deverin, and we are here at the farmers market in Blacksburg. Our farm is up in Floyd County. We just started farming a year ago. I guess you could say we're the new pilgrims that are getting into going back to the land and growing our own vegetables and marketing produce in this type of situation. We try to grow most everything naturally and use as many organic methods as we can. We have 25 acres. 3 acres is in vegetables. Most of the summer crops, fall crops, just about everything you could think of. We have a big selection of things. Our orchard we lease. We have some livestock. We're in the process of building a home. We chose this area because it is cleaner than the area that we came from. We had moved down here from New Jersey, and it was getting very crowded and polluted. So about 5 years ago, we planned on coming into this area and starting something new. And at this point, I've got to say it is an adventure. Our life isn't boring by any means, but it's a lot of hard work. We've met a lot of wonderful people coming into Blacksburg, and we just enjoy what we're doing a whole lot. Here we have a bunch of different kind of apples, Golden Delicious, Red Delicious. They're primarily eating. Romes. We have Grimes Golden, an old-time apple called Maggie Bowman, some Stamen, and all of these apples are priced at this time 5 pounds for $1, $5.50 a bushel. And here we have October beans, which are selling now about 2 pounds for $1. Then we have the Ruby Chard, which is selling for 50 cents a pound. We have butternut squash, which is 25 cents a pound. The peppers are selling for 10 cents a piece. Turnips are selling for 25 cents a pound. The pumpkin is about $1. Potatoes are selling for 25 cents a pound. And the acorn squash is 25 cents a pound.
My name's Dorothy Shankle, and we're from Pembroke and Doe Creek Farm, and we've been selling apples at the farmers market for 4 years. And we've got about 20 trucks here in the summertime. That's our membership. And everybody comes from Floyd County, Montgomery County, Patrick County, Giles County. And the market runs, I guess, from June through October. So we're about at the end of it.
What's the biggest change you've seen in this area?
At the market or
Anywhere.
Anywhere?
In the River Valley.
That's hard to say. What about the market? I'd say that we've increased the number of trucks the market has, and the produce has gotten better and better every year. People are finding out what the market likes and what people like to eat and everything. So the spring market isn't too much now, but a lot of people are staying out later in the fall for it. It's getting better in the fall.
What do you think the future will be like?
Well, for the market, we'd like to see a permanent market in the area. We're trying to work on that right now to get something permanent in Blacksburg, either through the town or the county or somewhere where we can have a stall set up and not something on the Roanoke Valley style, not something that large, but something a little bit smaller where we can sell our produce and get a little bit bigger.
You think you'll still be doing this 20 years from now?
Probably. Yeah, we bought our farm about 4 years ago, and we've got about 4,000 trees, so we'll be in it a long time. We mostly wholesale, but I like to come out and sell here. It's fun.
What do you think about the quality of life in this area?
I enjoy it. We came from Loudoun County, and it was very crowded up. We had to move because you can't farm there and make any money anymore. So we came down here because it's a lot less crowded, and it's beautiful in this area. It's really nice, and it's much slower, a lot slower.
Well, I think it's a right good county. I've been living here about 45 years.
What are the biggest changes you've seen in the county?
Well, a lot of changes, like putting these boxes out to keep the county clean. That's one improvement I think a lot of. Keep people throwing their trash along the highway. That's solved a lot of problems in my book.
You've been here 45 years. Have you seen it change a lot?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of the industrialization of the county?
Well, I think you should have more of it.
More? What kind?
Well, different type. Like giving more people jobs, different things. It help energy and it help Montgomery County too.
What do you think it's going to be like in 50 or 100 years here?
Well, it's hard to say, because I won't be around to see it. I know that.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll still be beautiful?
Well, I hope so. Well, right now, the county looks pretty. All the leaves turning on the trees and everything, but everything. Time changes everything.
Okay, my name is Diane Burns, and I have lived in Blacksburg for 7 years. My husband is a math professor at Virginia Tech here. I am the assistant manager of the Wardrobe, a ladies' dress shop in Gables Shopping Center. The store is now 11 months old. We opened in December of 1980. Fashion, it will be interesting to see what fashion is in the years to come. Right now, women are basically concerned with making their wardrobe stretch as far as they possibly can with the prices. Basic blazers, knit dresses, and silk dresses seem to be one of the biggest sellers for us. Price-wise, a good blazer will range anywhere from $80 to $200. A nice knit dress anywhere from $75 to $200. It'll be difficult to tell what the future will bring. I think more and more women are being very realistic about their wardrobes. As I said, buying clothes that they can use for years to come, very classic clothing. We will get away from designers dictating to us what we should wear. You see more and more women in the office today, so dressing much more professionally than what we used to.
Hi, I'm Jay Newman. I'm a pharmacist at Gables Pharmacy here in Blacksburg. I've been up here. I've been working since July up here. I just gotten out of pharmacy school this past May, and I'm a new pharmacist up here. I really do like the area so far, and talk a little bit about pharmacy practice and the way it's probably going to be changed in 75 years from now. Right now, we see right now we do not have a good antiviral drug, which probably virus will be like bacterial infections are now, very easy to cure. Be very, very many antivirals out on the market. The price of drugs right now. Some of the newer antibiotics are very expensive to us right now. Our costs for some of them are up to $100 per 100, which is about $1 a capsule. I have no idea what it will be in the future. I don't even know if they will have pharmacists in the future. You may just have to go to your doctor and get everything you need right there as an automated delivery system. The Blacksburg area right now is pretty profitable for the drug business. There aren't too many drugstores around. There are a few chains moving into the area, but for the most part, we are an independent here at Gables, and there are a lot of independents around. There is a chain, Rite Aid is coming. Eckert's is right across the road from us right now, and I don't know what the future will hold as far as the chains go. I graduated from Medical College of Virginia in Richmond, part of VCU.
Give us some input why you chose behind-the-counter pharmacist as opposed to selling for a drug company?
I like working with the public, and when you're a retail pharmacist compared to working for a drug company, working in a hospital, you see a lot more people, you see a lot more different types of people, and you do have access to the public. You can help them. And right here, to me, it seems like that's where it's at. The outpatient setting is where you do need to really instruct people on how to take their drugs properly.
Why'd you come to the area?
I was up here. I went to college at Tech for a while, for undergraduate, before I went to MCV. And I really like the area, and it's a good job opportunity here. The business is good.
My name is Lula Porterfield Gibbons. I was born in Giles County, but I have been a resident of Montgomery since 1939 and a teacher in this county for 35 years. I have seen great strides in educational progress shown in the building of well-equipped modern buildings, better trained teachers, and a lightening of the pupil load. In my history of Christiansburg, published in 1981, I have told of schools in log cabins, academies, and of our schools to the present modern high school on Independence Boulevard. I was asked by a New River newspaper to characterize the people of Montgomery and Christiansburg, and this is what I said. Rooted in the log cabin days of our ancestors and transmitted to us are the characteristics of our liberty-loving people, enduring, enterprising, and foresighted with a strong sense of justice and the courage of their convictions. They have a love for the land and feel obligated to preserve the natural environment. They have an abiding interest in education and religion with a deep concern for the welfare of others. And even as these characteristics have been passed on to us, I hope we have passed them on to our posterity. In the future that confronts them, I hope that they will remain liberty-loving in a free land, retain a generous concern for the welfare of others, and seek the preservation of a healthful environment. Above all, I would hope they keep the faith and love for the God of our fathers and work for the peace which his Son came to proclaim. Christman's Mill was built by Abraham Christman in 1769, and it grew into right much of a little industrial center, the first one in Christiansburg. And it's built on Crab Creek, which flows through Christiansburg. This is a picture of a part of Old Fort Chiswell. The picture was made in 1901, but the first court held for Montgomery County was held in this building for about, I'd say 11 years before it came here to what is now Christiansburg.
My name is Patricia Gibbons Johnson, and I am a native of Christiansburg. I went through the public schools here and was educated here, and all my youth was spent in this town. And later I married and went away for a number of years, and recently I moved back because I think that Christiansburg is a very special type of community, and it has much to offer people today. One reason that I did move back here was because it is the type of place that it is. It is a small community. The air and the water and the streams are unpolluted, and you don't have to worry about breathing a lot of smoggy, filthy air. We were living in Washington, and the streets were congested, and we had bumper-to-bumper traffic and a great deal of crime, and this is the type of thing that we came away from Washington back to this community to get away from. And I was very pleased to find it not too changed from my youthful days here. It has changed somewhat. We have a new courthouse that we didn't have. We have other new buildings. And I would very much like to see this community remain as it is. I don't want to be called old-fashioned or anything like that, but I think it's so pleasant the way it is now. And I would hate to see overcrowding and over-industrialization and over-commercialization, this sort of thing. It's a nice, small community in Western Virginia among the mountains and the beautiful scenery. And I would like very much for it to remain just as it is. I guess that's impossible. I have had such an interest in this region that I have written 4 books. I've written 4 histories about Western Virginia, about Montgomery County, and the New River Valley particularly is my specialty. And I wrote a biography and a regional history combined into one book about James Patton. And I became so interested in him and so involved in what I was doing that just naturally a sequel to that book about William Preston evolved out of it. And over at Blacksburg, you can see the plantation where William Preston lived, the plantation that he built and where he lived before the Revolution and during the Revolutionary War. And he was the colonial leader of this area during the Revolutionary War. And he helped to save the western part of Virginia for the American cause. He was a great patriot, and he put all his effort and all his energies into the American cause. And then I've written a family history about one of the families that I was descended from in this valley. And also I wrote a book about Andrew Lewis, another American general, one of Washington's generals. And I'm presently working on another book about the New River Valley. So this is kind of my aim, to educate people about this region. It's a region that has been very much neglected by historians. It's been neglected culturally because people don't seem to realize that there's part of Virginia that's west of the Blue Ridge or west of the Alleghenies, and it's just really been neglected by historians. And so this is my goal and my mother's, to record what we can about our region so that everybody, even in the world, in the nation, can know about it.
I believe that the best way to predict the future of this county is to look at the past. If I could pick one word to describe the history of Montgomery County, I would pick the word stability. Stability is reflected by steady growth in the population, in the economy, and in the use of available resources. Some may say that this area of Virginia is not progressive enough, but I think what they are seeing is an attitude of its citizens that growth must be carefully thought out, carefully planned, and carefully executed. We have experienced rapid growth and expansion, and that is good, because we have not experienced the problems that usually go hand in hand with explosive growth. As a consequence, although we are affected by the national economic and social trends, they tend to be less hard hit here in this county with the problems that assail the nation. An example is that unemployment in Montgomery County is 5.9%. The national rate is 7.3%. Montgomery County traditionally has had a lower unemployment rate relative to the nation. We also are proud of many other characteristics of this area. We have the state's land-grant university, which educates our young, employs many people, and serves the needs of the community, the state, and the nation. We have the New River for a water supply for our citizens, for agriculture, and for industry. It also affords outstanding recreational opportunities. And yes, we do have industry here in Montgomery County, and I'm happy to say good, clean industry. We have excellent medical facilities, including progressive facilities for our elderly people. These examples are just hints of what this county has offered and will continue to offer the people of the future. Perhaps I could best express my feeling for this part of the New River Valley on a very personal level. My father, John Hardy, went into business here in 1931. This was during the height of the Depression, but what he found was not depression, but opportunity. Over the years, his businesses prospered, and it afforded my brother and me a very happy and a very safe life as we grew up. As we came to adulthood, we came to venture into our own businesses, and finally, we expanded throughout the state. I feel Montgomery County has been good for me and my family, and that is one reason why I never want to leave this area. It is also a reason why I wanted to represent this area as an elected representative. There's more to life in Montgomery County than the economic opportunity. It comes down to the people that live and have lived here. We have an interesting combination of values and attitudes that are influenced by mobility. We have people here from all different regions and cultures that seem to just assimilate out into the county. They're attracted by a warm and hospitable social climate provided by the longtime residents. As a total population, we are resourceful, caring, and a hard-working people. For our future, I see the county growing in opportunity. We will weather the good times and the bad in the same manner that we have always faced the future, with patience, diligence, and a strong sense of community. Thank you.
I'm John N. Dalton, and as we sit here in 1981, I'm the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I don't know what the situation will be some years from now when this time capsule is opened at the courthouse in Christiansburg. But at this time, I think Montgomery County is one of the finest places to live anywhere in America. And I can say that because I've literally grown up here. I've lived in the New River Valley since 1937. I represented Montgomery County in the House of Delegates from 1965 until 1973. I was a state senator representing Montgomery County for about a year in 1973, and then in 1973, the fall of 73, I was elected lieutenant governor, and then in 1977, governor, and I'm about to bring my 4 years as governor of Virginia to a close. But I've seen Montgomery County grow, and grow for the better. We had some 32,000 people living in Montgomery County in 1960, and the 1980 census has it in the neighborhood of 65,000, so almost a doubling of population. We've seen Virginia Tech grow to a point where here in 1981, approximately 21,000 students are enrolled at Virginia Tech. Radford University has also had a significant increase in enrollment, and they're now up to about 6,000. But I predict a bright future for Montgomery County and the New River Valley area. We have water resources that are going to become quite a problem for the rest of the state, particularly the eastern part and the northern part of Virginia in the years to come, but we're blessed to have the great New River flowing through our area. And so I wish all of you who might be looking at this tape when this time capsule is open, a very bright future. I think today we're looking at a bright future for our area of Virginia, and I wish you well as you go about the rest of your life and the rest of the life of the people of this area.